Highway. And the story has a rider here saying Umahi vows to continue projects, insists government paying compensation. And this one says federal government rules out new routes in 2025, plans to complete existing projects. You can get full details of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Dangote Refinery begins petrol production test run. Dangote Refinery begins petrol production test run. That story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying Tinubu cut short France trip, swears in CJN today. Tinubu cut short France trip, swears in CJN today. You can get full details of that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. NNPC directors' expenses jump by 214%. That's a report there. And it's on page 21 of the Punch newspaper this morning. NNPC directors' expenses jump by 214%. That's a report there on page 21 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And then we have this one, stay from the Punch newspaper this morning. Ministers' rights, Finance Ministry over Sanu Nasu withheld salaries. Ministers' rights, Finance Ministry over Sanu Nasu withheld salaries. You can get full details of that story on page 29 of the Punch newspaper this morning. 6 NSAS protesters are freed after 4 years in detention. 6 NSAS protesters freed after 4 years in detention. You can get full details of that story right there on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying bandits kill 13 Niger farmers, alleged leaked information. Bandits kill 13 Niger farmers, alleged leaked information. You can get full details of that story right here on page 11 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Punch newspaper. Okay, let's see this. We have this one here saying Labour Party denies APC alliance, 1.6 billion naira offer. Labour Party denies APC alliance, 1.6 billion naira offer. You can get full details of that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying APC campaign builds in lies, says PDP. I get full details of that story on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. Those two stories talking about the APC, Labour Party denying APC's alliance and 1.6 billion naira, and then the APC campaign built on lies coming from PDP. Those are developing stories as regards the Edo State governorship poll that is coming up soon. I can get full details of those stories on pages 7 and page 30 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Punch newspaper this morning. Very quickly, we'll be going on a very short commercial break, and when time comes when we come back, we'll check out some of these headlines and then review them together this morning. Like I said, we are streaming live on Facebook this morning at omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can also drop your comment there this morning. We'll read them when the time comes. Okay, then when the time comes to, we open the phone lines for you to join the conversation, and then you share your own views and thoughts as regards some of the things we'll be discussing this morning. Do not go anywhere. Still Newslands right here on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short time out.
Fresh news, best talk, hot music, where else?
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, made with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Break time is crunch time. So give your chance this delicious crunchy delight to keep them winning all day. Milo and a snack of future champions. Milo!
Hello?
Hello there. I'm at the hospital right now because the kills are seriously ill. I've been on a long queue and the doctor is here to attend to me. I don't know what to do again.
You know what? How about the numbers I gave you while leaving?
Oh, the e-Dokita numbers?
Yes.
Call them right away. They will attend to you immediately.
Hello?
Darling, just like magic. Junior is playing. Even Princess is eating like an adult.
You know I've told you to calm down. Our family is covered with e-Dokita Premium Plan. With eDoctor, you have access to healthcare at your fingertips. Stop wasting your productive hours while waiting in the clinic for doctor. Subscribe today to any of eDoctor plans and enjoy online chat and call consult, laser therapy, medical outreach, and home care services. Simply dial 0704 714 2000 or 0701 000 8670. Log on to www.edoctor.com or visit us at eDoctor, number 2 Ocean Street, New Bodija, Ibadan. eDoctor, inspiring wellness.
Hello, with everybody for you.
My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM, na dem be Sabi Radio.
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Alright, you're welcome back. It's still Newslands right here on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And then before we went on that short commercial break, I told you that we'll be reviewing some of these headlines together, and I have my analyst in the studio this morning. This morning I have with me in the studio Professor Wale Akinyemi. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, Tayo. Good morning to our listeners. Happy weekend to all of you.
And of course, I have with me in the studio this morning Comrade Omoju. Good morning, Comrade.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
All right, let's start here with the sad incident that happened in Niger State. Talking about bandits killing some set of farmers and some other people. Saying, let's get the headline here from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. This one saying Niger killings. Federal government orders security agencies to track foreign miners funding banditry. Niger killings. Federal government orders security agencies to track foreign miners funding banditries. The story comes to the rider here says bans mining Shiroro sites, vows to avenge killing of 12 miners. And then there's a quote here from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune saying those who think they can evade villages, kill innocent people to make way for illegal mining of their rich minerals will be shocked to discover that it is no longer business as usual. With the mining marshals working with the intelligence community, we shall fish out those hoodlums and put their hands on the fire. All right, that story there is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Professor Wale Akinyemi, we've always been talking about miners, illegal miners, and then we've always been talking about foreigners invading villages to mine and to just fish out some precious mineral resources that belongs to Nigeria without no one checking them. But then the federal government is saying that they are ready to track foreign miners that are funding banditry in the country. The issue of mining is in the news again. Very quick, Ibadan people can't forget very quickly the incident, the ugly incident that happened in January this year as regards to the issue of mining and then explosive being in some places. I'm asking the question this morning. How can we curb the excesses of these so-called foreign miners that are invading our villages, that are invading our society at this point in time?
Thank you very much, Tayo. The absolute truth of the matter is there is nowhere in the world where you have mining activity that you don't have high level of insecurity. Wherever you have anything that has to do with extraction of solid minerals, the people that are doing it mostly will want to do it illegally. And that is why in every country where they have rich solid mineral resources, government is very, very deliberate about making adequate security preparation to take care of insecurity. It is not true that all the people that are threatening us are foreigners. That is not true. The absolute truth of the matter is that before those foreigners can come in, some Nigerians must have collaborated with them. So the question we want to ask ourselves that these foreigners that they are talking about, did they fly into Nigeria? Did they pass through our borders? Why is it that our borders are so porous in the north? Why is it that people can just walk into Nigeria and do all sorts of terrible things with impunity? You just referred to Ibadan crisis. Up to today, nobody has given us the government white paper on that crisis and the decision and the punitive action that has been taken against those people who stored explosive in a private house. The thing has been swept under the carpet. And for as long as you continue to have this kind of a situation, things cannot change. I keep on saying it that the problem in Nigeria more than any other thing is the problem of corruption. And that corruption is to a very, very large extent being packaged by the elites, especially the political elites. If you have traveled in Niger State very, very well, you see that that state alone has the capacity to feed this country if it is well managed, because they have the land, they have the water resources in that place, and they have the farmers that are willing to work. But in a situation where you have all of these things that nature has bestowed us with, and then we have very, very intracted security situation, the same thing we have been talking about all the time. Things cannot change. The other day I saw a video of the executive governor of Niger State distributing money on the street, throwing bales of money to people. Is that responsible governance? Is that the way things have been done? Is that the way we want to continue to administer our country in the 21st century? So whether we like it or not, I lay this blame squarely at the doorstep of people in government. We need more responsible governance. We cannot have people who know that people are committing illegality, but because of their connection to people in power, they turn a blind eye. What is happening in Niger State is happening all in the 36 states. Maybe the situation is more protracted, it's more glaring in Niger State. Is it in Osun State that they are not doing illegal mining? Is it in Oyo State they are not doing illegal mining? Is it in Ogun that they are not doing illegal mining? Is it in Zamfara? We have a very, very long time. They even have the temerity to be saying that their gold belongs to them, but the petrol belongs to the rest of Nigeria.
Interesting one there. Coming to Module, let me take your reaction quickly as regards that before we move on to other stories this morning. Illegal mining, and then the federal government is saying they will fish out illegal miners and track them down to make sure that there's sanity and peace in Niger State, and then they will be brought to book, and then justice will be melted on them. What's your take on this?
Medicine after death. We have had that rhetoric time and again. We will do this, we go after them, we hand them the same old stories. We have always had it that prevention is always better than cure. There must have been some, feelers and some, traces of likelihood of this attack based on intelligence. If we are a serious country, there must have been some level of, you must have been seeing some traces, some feelers must have been coming that we are beginning to have some strangers here. What have those authorities in that community, what have they done? What steps have they taken? And this is bringing me back to all of us being our police. You see some strangers, suddenly coming into your community and you keep quiet. No questions are asked. You don't even know, maybe through your landlord and whatever, you just keep quiet. Things like this will happen. But by and large, whether mining or, Boko Haram, kidnappers, we have seen repeated attacks and killing of people with impunity, which shows our security lapses in this country. And it's most unfortunate that these are lives, human beings involved. You not talk about human lives in hundreds, it doesn't even count anymore, like goats. So the issue of we go after them, to me, is mixing after death. The people that have been killed. It is expected that henceforth, let us be very, very intelligence conscious, and let us police our environment. That's why we have talked about the issue of state police and what have you, so that some of these lapses can be curbed. We can't continue to, be wasting, human lives, human beings. We are still talking about issue of food crisis, and the few farmers that are daring enough to still engage in this farming are still being killed. It's most unfortunate. Most unfortunate.
All right, let's move on to some other stories this morning. Talking about the End Bad Governance protest, and then some the protest organizers or some certain sort of people that were involved are saying they've not released the 10 protesters up until today. And then there's some set of people are saying that they should be released. Let's take this from the Vanguard newspaper saying End Bad Governance, release the 10 protesters now. On Aikan, Arewa youths, CSOs telling federal government there. And then this one is saying arraign or release protesters before August 25 or face legal actions. That's coming from Falano to every federal government there. And it's saying says adequate notice must be given to suspects to enable them contact NBA families for defense. And this one is saying resolves to defend cases filed against protests. Fight against protesters by 2 states, FCT and AFCT. This one is saying asks NHRC to investigate killing of 22 protesters. Over 30 lawyers coming out for 27 protesters. That's coming from Adeyanju. Condemns ill treatment of detained protesters. UNESCO calls for protection of journalists covering protests worldwide. And that story is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Prof, there's been calls from various sectors, from various angles that the federal government should at least, if they are not releasing the protesters that were arrested during the End Bad Governance protest, they should at least allow them to be arraigned to court and then charged. If eventually they are found guilty, they will face the wrath of the law. But if not, they should release them and allow them go. Why is the federal government still keeping them in detention up until now? What's your take on this?
If you understand the game of chess very well, you will see that when you move the king, you move queen, and you move the knight, it is the pawns that suffer the consequence. That's precisely what is happening in Nigeria. The key people that organize this protest, the people that have the kind of fund to organize the protest, the people that used all of these people as pawns, the people who actually controlled behind the scene this protest. Those are the people government should go after. And in going after them, they should not retain them in detention or permanently. They should prosecute them, take them to court, charge them to court, and make sure that they use the instrumentality of law to deal with them. But when you pick people on the street and you just keep them indefinitely in detention, it is not right. It is uncivil. It's not even something that should be encouraged in a democracy. So I think our security operatives, they need better orientation. It is not just they want to be seen that they are working, but when they are working, it's not every work that you work that is good. They should make sure that they are doing a good work, excellent job. So please, if there is anybody that they just speak on the street and things like that, those ones are just puppets. The puppet masters are the ones they should go after if they really want to get to the bottom of this problem we are talking about.
All right, comment about your thoughts on that.
But to me, why would they even go after those, even if they have some finances to, support protests? Because we have been told time and again that in a democracy, even the president himself, ascended to that protests in a democracy is allowed. So I don't know when it now became an illegitimate or a condemnable action to sponsor a particular protest, especially when you see that you are not, okay with certain government policies. The only thing that I expect the government to do at the moment is to profile some of these arrested people, so to speak. Okay, there were very violent protests in the north. at that, in that area, those that you actually saw, masterminding violent protests, destroying government properties, those ones, you can keep them. But if certain people were, arrested here, back in the Southwest, where, people are still showing some, sentiment towards the government, I don't expect that such people should be kept in the detention up until now, because if they engage in peaceful protest, it's their right, in my view. But those that you have actually profiled, that that indeed this one is a criminal, this one is the one that carried the police post or whatever, this one is the one that stole computers, this one is the one that did this, then you can still keep them, because that's where they belong. But to me, whether somebody sponsored or is still within the confines of legitimacy to, vent your grievances against what is perceived to be an injustice in the country, which we can all see. So even going after those who sponsor them, to me, is I don't subscribe to that, because we have been told time and again that protest is part of democracy.
Interesting one there. All right, let's move on. This morning, we're touching some more stories. This morning, having this one coming from the power minister, saying the federal government must differential tariff to stimulate demands. That's coming from the power minister, Adibayo Adelabu, there this morning, talking about a price tariff, and then talking about them stimulating demands. He's saying federal government is currently doing some kind of deep thinking as regards the differential in tariff to stimulate the demands of our Nigerians as regards the power generation and the power supply issue this morning. Professor Wole Akiyemi, what's the federal government thinking about as regards the issue of power tariff this morning? Because as it is now, many Nigerians will even tell you we don't even have the electricity you are talking about. And so what are they thinking about at this time again?
Thank you very much. I think when there was absolutely no electricity or whatever, we condemned it, and we didn't commend the minister. But I must say that there have been some marked improvement in power generation and supply in Nigeria. Whatever that the minister is doing, he should sustain it. But I think government and that particular Ministry of Power should be more deliberate about strategies of pricing energy, because the pricing of energy, you see that the people that are in the industrial sector, people that manufacturers and the rest of it, they have been complaining a whole lot. And if power hike will be one of the things that will now further deplete our industries, make them close down their doors, or the ones that are operating begin for them to be producing goods and services at very, very high prices, then a responsible government should review how they can give them some concessions. The same thing with our institutions. When I'm talking about institutions, I'm talking about hospitals, I'm talking about research centers, I'm talking about universities and all of that. They should be giving some, because all of them have been crying now that the kind of power rate they are paying now is not sustainable, and it might actually crumble their activities. So there is no doubt at all that the power ministry needs a well-articulated strategy on price. And the kind of apartheid that they are talking about, band A, band B, band C, is totally unacceptable. As a matter of fact, I expect some of our legal luminaries to look at that and even possibly even sue the federal government. You cannot be in the same country, and the US now say some people, they have the right, because they have money, they can have electricity, and some other ones that are Nigerians cannot have electricity. If you are doing that kind of apartheid in our own country, then it is most unfortunate. So whatever that they needed to do, they will make sure. Let me tell you one thing that I do know from my own experience dealing with some of these power people. They would rather, when they said that they are on drive for revenue generation and the rest of it, they prefer you not to have meter, so that they can bill you arbitrarily, and the money that they collect from such activity exercises does not go to the pocket of the federal government. It ends up in the pocket of the people that are running the place. And you need to see some of the words that they send out. They behave like thugs. Some of them will come into your house behaving as if it's an army of occupation. I don't know why we have this kind of thing in the country. You know, also many things that problem will come from them, but instead of addressing that problem, it's you that they hold and victimize. That is the kind of thing that I've seen that so many Nigerians are going through. Even where you have a prepaid meter, they will still come if the meter, for example, is burnt. I experienced it personally. My meter was burnt and that meter is on the pole. There's no way I could have climbed the pole. But they came back, they now said that I refuse, I've not been paying, and they came up with about 250,000 naira that is what I should be paying. I mean, you come to a retired man, because of your inefficiency, you now come and you want to punish that person. You say that, yes, loss of revenue, pay 250,000 naira. And I'm sure if that can happen to me, you can imagine what will be happening to so many people at other levels. So that's in power ministry. It needs to be completely overhauled. They need a proper strategy to manage that ministry. Otherwise, there will be serious problem.
Interesting one there, Professor. I'm coming to Moju. You've heard Professor's submission on that, and then a lot of people have been talking about different things going on in the power sector, and then you know, we have the two most complex sectors in Nigeria currently: the petroleum sector and then the power sector, giving Nigerians some kind of headache at this point in time. God. And then he loved the Minister for Power is saying the federal government is taking some deep thoughts as regards how to stimulate prices and then make sure things gonna come back to normal. And then Nigerians are saying probably we are enjoying a little bit of electricity at this point in time, or let's see how the federal government can do better. You know, we've seen instances where universities are even crying at this point in time. They are saying a lot is most of them are saying the federal government, the power sector is getting a lot of their revenue from them, running into trillions of naira at this point in time. And then you ask the question, what are we doing? And then, you know, at some point they've been giving various states have been giving the authority to generate their own electricity and the likes like that. And you ask the question, some of these universities, can they even start to think of generating their own source of electricity at this time? Or do you think it's just all about us just recycling and doing the same thing over and over and over again? What's your take on this?
Let me say this. The one that I know, you know, over the years, I don't want to pamper the Ministry of Power at the moment that there is electricity or that there is improvement. You know, over the years, around this time when we are in rainy season, because of the, you know, quantum of water in Kanji, usually we have electricity. If you look at the, you know, event, you know, in past years, you discover that during rainy season, in most cases, we normally have electricity. So that may be what is responsible for the relative, you know, electricity that people, you know, enjoy lately. Until we get to the, you know, dry season. That's when I can categorically say that indeed something has been done in that sector. Because I've not seen any physical changes or maybe change of transformers or something that, you know, that is deliberate enough to sustain the electricity that possibly we are, you know, enjoying, so to speak, at the moment. Now, I still don't know why common electricity is the issue in a country that is the most popular black nation in the world, where nations around the world are going, you know, technologically advanced. Nations around the world are advancing. You know, they are past the stage of electricity. Now, we should be talking about electricity, you know, should have been a thing of the past in the 80s and possibly early 90s. But now we are still talking about electricity. So when are we going to develop as a nation? Now, I heard it in the news yesterday that the nations that we supply electricity to, the like of Togo and Benin, they are owing us, I think, some $14 million or something. Okay, what is responsible for some of these huge debts, so to speak, that the power sector says certain consumers, are owing them? I discovered that they are as a result of estimated billings. I discovered that power sector, the so-called the distribution companies, you discover that some of them don't just give you certain bills. I've seen a particular apartment where somebody has not been there for 6 months, and they kept bringing bills every month for him to pay something that he never used. Now, how do you now reconcile that? So we need a serious overhaul of that sector, because that is the driver of our economy.
So you are going in line with Professor as regards the total overhauling of that sector.
Complete overhaul of that
sector. All right, let's check some other story this morning. Talking about that, the 2025 budget, the federal government is speaking this morning, and then this story is from the Vanguard newspaper saying State House budget 2025 budget will be on actual requirements. State House 2025 budget will be on actual requirements. That's coming from the presidency there. And then the Nation also reports something in that light, saying budget 2025 to focus on essential projects, and saying targets is full funding. Professor Oli Akinyemi, there are no excesses come 2025. They're going to be actual and be serious about our essential needs alone. That's what the presidency is saying as regards the 2025 budget. Is this not a good one at this time?
If that submission were to be made in front of a judge in a court, they have just indicted themselves. So that will mean that the past projects that we have had in Nigeria, they have not been on actual things, they have been on frivolities. So if that is the situation, if that is the scenario, then what assurance do we have that in 2025 the same personnel, the same people, the same set of shenanigans that operated with the past budget will not also operate in 2025? The absolute truth of the matter is that we have human problem in this country. Let our people be more transparent. Let our people be let them have more fear of the Lord. Let us be more spiritual than religious in this country. All the people that are bringing Nigeria to its knees, they are people that have chieftaincy titles, well honored in churches and in mosques. As I'm speaking, a majority of them, when it is time for Jumat, all of them will go there and everything. And these are the real enemies of Nigeria. We cannot continue to remain in sin and asking God that grace should abound.
All right, interesting one there. Coming to Moju, the flag of the presidency is saying we are focusing on the essentials this time around, come 2025 as regards the budget. And then just like Prof have said, are the past budgets, are they focused on frivolities? Are they focused on frivolities or what message the presidency is trying to pass this morning?
Now, Tayo,
okay.
If you recall, I've said it repeatedly on this platform that there is what we call the actual needs and the felt needs. Maybe this is the time they are trying to, align with my thinking that we should have the real needs of the people, focused on. Over the years, it's been felt needs. And just as Prof said, in other words, all our previous budgets have been on felt needs. Let's buy presidential jets. Let's buy SUVs. Let's go on a cruise in America and Dubai.
And do you think they won't buy all those ones again come 2025? I don't know. Are those ones not the actual needs of the government?
It's most unfortunate. But at least we are speaking against such. And maybe that's why they're just feeling jittery in a way that, it's like there is exposition. That's why we must not stop talking.
How do we want to know if they won't buy those ones again come 2025? Because as we speak now, some certain assets have been seized by a Chinese firm as we speak, and Nigerians do not even know that we have such ones. At that point, we were shouting, "Do not buy that private jet! Do not buy the private jet!" But eventually, we realize that they've bought it, and Nigerians do not even know.
Now, that is why I said we must not stop talking. This man said, if I know where they go, somebody they tell me say no be the road I go shout to. Now, you may have been doing it, but when noise, advocacy against it increases, then you will see some changes. I tell you the truth, people have been so silent in this country, and that is why we have been taken for granted this long. Nigeria does not belong to the cabals alone. I keep saying it. It does not belong to the like of Gbajabiamila Lake and Festo Kiyamo alone. We are all in this country, and we own this country, together. So what is good for the good must be good for the ganga. But then I don't know how they say it.
But then in animal farm, there's more, some animals are more.
But not with that margin that we have in this country. Certainly, there are certain animals that even you that are lesser animals will respect that office, but not in this margin. This margin is outrageous.
Interesting one day. We need to go on a short commercial break. Now, when we return, we talk about more stories. Do not forget you can drop your comments on our Facebook page this morning at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Drop your comment this morning. And when we come back, we open the phone lines for you to join the conversation, and then you share your thoughts and opinion as regards some of the things we discussed in this morning. Do not go anywhere. Still Newslands right here on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after the short time out.
The voice of integrity, Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
I will show you. Junior, don't do that.
Sweetheart, no matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack cartons. Also, each Indomitable pack is now 200 naira, while Super Pack is now 350 naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
In any emergency, every second counts. The Nigerian Communications Commission brings you the 112 emergency toll-free line, available nationwide, anytime, any day, absolutely free. With just 3 simple digits, 112, help is on the way. Dial from any network at any time. No charges, just immediate response. Remember, the 112 toll-free line directly connects to emergency services. If you need the police, fire service, ambulance services, Federal Road Safety Corps, Nigeria Civil Defense Corps, and more. Because when it comes to saving lives, we're all in this together at NCC. NCC, connecting Nigeria.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay in power, you find it all in peak. Every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak Protein Breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak. Reach for your peak. The voice of integrity, Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
All right, you're welcome back. It's still Newslands right here on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And right about now, the studio lines are open. You can join the conversation by calling us this morning on 07047 007999, 07047 007999. Can also call us on 08053888933, 08053888933. Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. Let's say who is here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm Cassius, calling from Ibadan.
All right, please make your point, Mr. Cassius.
Yes, thank you very much. The essence of government, as we all know, is welfare and security. When we have the issue of bombs here and there, the question is government up and doing? When we hear the issue of poverty, people are not able to feed here and there. It is an obvious truth that government is failing. And again, when people come out to protest, government want to lock them down. They don't want you to vent your anger against government policies. And that is why you see, even before the protest commenced, government was doing everything to stop it. It sent out security agencies like there was war. That is not acceptable. The government is failing, and the government don't want us to vent our anger, our dissatisfaction. That is unacceptable. And there's poverty everywhere, and there's insecurity everywhere. And this is a clear failure in government. It's clear that government is failing the people. So we as a people must come out to talk against government without fear of intimidation. And that is the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
This is Adionke from Muslim.
All right, please make your point.
I want to contribute on the fuel of it. So it's so sad that fuel has been on the increase side. As I said today, as I'm going to work, a liter of fuel was sold at 1,001, which is over. We are even struggling to enter cab yesterday. So the federal government should try and please hear our plea on this fuel hiking fuel price of 18. So the CNG buses that are yet to roll out, they are yet to see. So I also call on state governors that they should roll out buses to roll out buses for us. So for instance, now in the state, the only people bus really go along. We see the state governor hold more out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. All right, let's see who's there. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
All
right, please
good
make your
morning
point.
to analysts in the studio. Regarding to electricity, I think power sector is the backbone of the economy. Any country that don't enjoy the stable electricity, definitely the business or most of the investors, they will run away, if not strive. That's the major problem. And the alternative of this power sector is the fuel that we are still battling with fuel scarcity right now. Some filling station like yesterday, they are selling 1,000, which is unbearable. And Mr. President promised us in the Shenani that Elofok Mabale, Amad Bukuwale. So he's the Minister of Petroleum also. And he's the one that moved the fuel subsidy. The reason why we are calling our Mr. President is that he's the one that is in charge. That's why I don't call all those governors. So Mr. President to do the in that regard. Because this thing, to become a man, is unbearable for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. All right, let's check some comments from Facebook this morning. We have this one from Olasin De Abib. Kama Dukwe saying well done from Okpeyemi area, Gbagi in Ibadan. We have this one from this one from Muiz Abdusalam saying good morning. Good morning to you too. Let's see who is there. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Your name and where you calling us from?
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you calling us from?
Wally is speaking to you.
Oh, yeah. Where is Wally calling us from, please?
Yeah?
Where are you calling us from, please?
I'm sorry.
All right, let's check some other comments on Facebook this morning. Coming from Oluwaseun Root, saying, good morning, Mr. Atai. It's a pity our government is taking the issue of insecurity with levity hands because kidnapping is now the order of the day, and of which the menace wouldn't have continued to happen if they granted state police. We implore the federal government to do the needful in addressing the issue of insecurity and grant our local security, like the Amotekun Corps in the southwest, to bear more sophisticated weapons. Okay, thank you very much for making your point there this morning. Let's see this one here. This one is coming from Miriam Yetunde saying, good morning. Clearly, the sudden removal of fuel subsidy without putting all necessary measures in place has contributed greatly to all the problems Nigerians are battling with, but I will urge federal government to revive at least one of our refineries, and also governors like Lagos or Oyo, and a few of them should roll out more of the subsidized buses, and other state governments should also provide succor for their people. That's coming from Miriam Yetunde this morning. Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning. And then I think that's all we'll be able to take on the program this morning. Thank you very much, Professor Wale Akinyemi, for being a part of the program this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
And of course, Kwame Jomoji, thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right, some other time. Up next is Sport Rave with Jonathan Ibileki, right after which Kakakiro will be coming on board on this dial. It is 7.7 FM. Till Monday, where we'll come again on this dial on the program Newslands at 7 a.m. from exactly 7 a.m. till around 8 a.m. on this dial. I want you to stay glued to your radio set because some other interesting content will be coming your way from this dial. It is 7.7 FM. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. You join Stephen Adedigba on the program, The Discourse on this dial. Also, it is 7.7 FM. I do not change the dial because we promise to give you some great and interesting content because we are the best when it comes to news, talk, and of course, music. Until then, my name is Oluwatayo Ajiwole. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.